Okay, in this video, I am going to talk about the 7 eons. But a wonderful thing just happened is I sent a video to a dear friend of mine, and her question was, but why? Why are these things hidden from us? And I sent her a video about how gravity does not exist, that there's no way that what is going on here is done by a function of gravity. So let me first, before I go into the 7 eons, because last time I did the 7 planets, which are the archons, let me talk about why. Again, because it's like people miss this part, and unless you are reading my blogs and keeping your mind very focused on what this realm is and not being distracted, again, by the politicians, the Messiah politicians, or any of that kind of truther stuff, or the distraction of the New Age, New Earth, light worker community, then you're continually hypnotizing yourself and losing your focus, which is exactly what this realm is. This is a realm of data points. All that's going on here is distraction. And the purpose of the distraction is, of course, to keep you in this circular wheel that is going around and around and around and around, because it's a harvesting hardware. So when I speak with Kira again around his dark materials, you will hear very clearly once again that this is about the severing action and the quantum from your soul. That is all that's going on here. So it's not a place we evolve. It's not a place that we choose necessarily to come to. It's actually, I heard a speaker from the Toltec tradition, which is like Carlos Castaneda, talk about how we are all supposed to be travelers. And the long river has an eddy in it that circles like this. And that eddy is this quantum computer, this place of many worlds, this place that circles again and again through the 7 eons. And it's your choice to be trapped here. So that's what I want to say, is maybe you were traveling and you said, oh, well, let's check this place out. And then you got trapped here because of the level of distraction and the enticing beauty. But you have to choose to get out. And while you're here, it's a gaming technology that chooses to harvest your soul potential again and again through traumatizing events. So it's like, if you can't figure out the why behind it, it's just that you're in this circular, like a leaf going. Have you ever seen like a river flowing and this one leaf gets stuck in that pool and it's going around and around and around? You have to choose to leave, because while it's going around and around and around through the eons, the trauma events that happen here harvest that energy from your soul. And so it is all illusion. All of it's based on distraction and illusion. And much of the distraction and illusion is quite terrifying. It's a really terrifying realm, okay? And it's a prison as long as you don't know that you should get out of here and stop going around and around and around. So endless distractions are going to happen. And from people who are far more skilled at making videos than I am. And as I said in my last video, the astrologers out there, if you look up anything and compare it to what I've said about, for instance, Venus, it's going to be exactly the opposite, because all of that has become muddied up on purpose. Because if we actually had agreement among astrologers about the 7 planets being archons and the eons going around and around and around. What a force. What an incredible power we would be if astrology was not muddied up. So I'm going to talk about that, actually that pool, that eddy, because that kind of circular vortex energy is what powers this illusion. So this is a realm. And the other thing I realized from my clients this week, which is excellent, is that I need to explain to you what is a simulation, or what it's also called is a simulacrum. Okay. So I actually looked it up. It's an unsatisfactory imitation. So a simulation is a copy of something. And it's a copy, as I said, of many galactic cultures that then got materialized here so that everybody can like feel into something that feels kind of like familiar and kind of like home. But I want to point out that this realm is not in need of your help. This realm circulates this wheel again and again and again, and it is just being amused. As I said, Carl Jung believes that some dreamer is dreaming this reality, and we're stuck somehow in this dream. And you're dreaming it too. So the great thing is all of it is an illusion. So even the horrible things that happen here are illusory, because you are always that immortal spiritual being who comes out of the void. So in fact, only the present moment right now is real. So all of the past, even though there are eons, don't worry about it, because you really are in some kind of a randomized event pattern where you get thrown into any particular one of these eons and then are harvested. So I want to talk about the eons in terms of the many world theories also that I referred to in one of my blogs about the quantum computer basically making many, many copies of this simulation based on your creativity and your choices. So what's interesting, if you read Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials, there's 2 different Oxfords, right? One of the Oxfords is still in more of the religious pedagogy, academia settings. And one of the Oxfords is more in like the rationalist, materialism, high technology developing, and that's where Will is from, whereas Lyra is from an entirely different Oxford. So even within the eons, of which there are 7 that wheel around again and again and again, there are many worlds operating at that same time in those different constructs. So that's how amazing this is. And I really am starting to see it now. And in fact, just this week, not only was I seeing kind of the digital screen more clearly, but I was seeing 2 parallels within the digital screen. So I actually could see, like, so just call it like a body, and I could see an infrared body also. So I actually do believe that definitely there is another simulation spinning off right now from this, what I'm going to call unsatisfactory imitation of what we have called Earth. I don't believe we're on Earth. I actually don't even believe we're on a planet. So to solve a lot of people's problems about whether it's flat or whether it's round, I'm going to tell you this: there are no edges to this simulation. So if you're referring to like the Admiral Byrd's exploration to the ice wall and the other worlds theory, there are no edges. It's not like you're going to be able to Google map and like come to the edge of the ice wall, because truly, folks, We're in a simulation to understand this thing. We are actually creating it through all of our distracted focus, which I'm going to call the sleight of mind. So you've heard about the sleight of hand, where magical tricks happen. Well, the sleight of mind is the same way. I mean, that you can get really focused on whether it's a flat earth or it's a planet or whether NASA is correct. But the thing is, here's the thing, it is whatever you think it is. That's how amazing and powerful you are. It is whatever you think it is. And I've been reading a chaos magic book. So I'm studying like Aleister Crowley and all of the magicians because they know what this realm is. So mathematically, you can come up with any equation that you want, including equations around gravity, and you can make them true. That's how amazing you are within this simulation. The other one that's coming up very strongly now is people's focus on the Wormwood battle star, Wormwood being Nibiru. Just because of our complete focus on that, we could cause another complete cataclysm of this realm. So it's our focus that attracts that wormwood. In addition, as I've said in my blogs, to the people activating the Phoenix grid line from Stonehenge, which activates Nibiru. Okay, so England, Stonehenge is the thing that activates Nibiru, and everyone's energy going toward that activates the complete cataclysm. To Cairo. Okay, so the pyramids clearly are something that project this simulation and have all the geometries that cause the reincarnation loop again and again. And so everybody traveling on that archonic line that is a grid for complete cataclysm, visiting the pyramids, thinking they're great, you also are activating the complete cataclysm of this realm. And you know what? Do whatever you want, folks, because now I am as amused as the gamer who is gaming this reality, just watching everything, going, wow, look at how distracted everybody, as if like some politician is going to fix this simulation, this what an unsatisfactory imitation of a planet. That's what this is, okay? So now there are 7 planets that are the archons that, again, bring you into materiality again and again. Your body is corporal. You don't need to be in a physical body. You don't need to have a meat suit. You are still a divine being, even if you are not in this current meat suit. You still exist. That was something that I spoke with a client yesterday who came here, and she hasn't been here in 15 years because she's only interested in shamanism. So I used to do shamanic work with her, which was incredibly helpful. She kept a lot of notebooks. She has referenced it for the last 15 years. And what was interesting about that was, now that I'm doing more shamanic work again with the dismemberment journey and the session to the void, she's interested in working with me because she has found that all the other things out there, including medicating oneself or drinking heavily or whatever, just like cover up this core belief that she has, which we finally got to her core belief, which is that life sucks and then you die. And it was astounding for me to actually affirm that that's true. I mean, it's true. That is what goes on here, one trauma event after the next. And she's working with 18-year-olds right now because she's a professor. And she's like, they're so traumatized. It's like they've all been through some kind of hazing experience. So it's, and I won't reveal all her personal details, but it's really interesting to me that it's almost like that it is a hazing event being on this planet, and fractures, pieces of your soul go when some very terrible thing happens. And that is what feeds the simulation. So my dearest, who has been my dearest friend for 22 years, just messaged me. Why don't they tell us? Because it's a machine. Earth is a machine. Do you understand that? Let me read you a quote that apparently came from Tesla. And I don't care who it came from. All right, so use your imagination, which is your most powerful tool. Earth is a realm. It is not a planet. It is not, in fact, even an object. It has no edge. Earth would be more easily defined as a system environment with the electromagnetic field, ether, suspending the celestial spheres that we see with electromagnetic levitation. So, of course, that was Tesla's understanding of what was going on here, was that basically Earth is a machine, like a Tesla coil, and it operates on us, our goodness, our beauty. And that's when my client was here yesterday, who I worked with for, very intimately for many years when I was doing shamanic practices. I kept saying to her, that beauty out there is mine. That's mine. I am creating this reality. Otherwise, if I wasn't creating this beauty, you would actually see the machinery of the simulation. Okay? And the one video that I shared from Jason of Archaics is called The Mechanical Eye, Hidden Constructions of the Sky Simulation. The mechanical eye is behind this simulation that appears because of my focus. All right, so he shared, and I've been looking at a lot of art also, so I'm particularly looking at the Victorian era right now, before the last cataclysm occurred. I'm looking at how high their level of realization about this realm is, just by looking at the art. So in that, The Mechanical Eye with Jason, he shows just art, which is why I actually like that video. It doesn't get into all the religious construct behind what this realm is, and that we're somehow being made into gods here, which I would suggest are actually demons. So there's a lot of art showing when the simulation dropped, there was mechanical objects. And he even says something very interesting, which Kira and I spoke about in Philip Pullman's material. Like, they may be from a previous age where God is being kept in some kind of spaceship or hyperbaric chamber, right? That is like so ancient and so old and is just floating around. And you, my dear, you may have gotten stuck here that whole time. So it's your choice to just keep believing this and having your soul harvested and come back again and do another one of the loops of the eons. But please do not just try and credit Tesla. I think they grabbed him for the Philadelphia experiment, and the Philadelphia experiment was when they were trying to break through this time-space continuum into the many worlds. And if you read about the Philadelphia experiment, people got merged with the ship that they were on, like their body parts were through the wood because the wormhole technology didn't work so well. And when they came back, they had dematerialized and rematerialized into the working parts of a ship. So read about that. So that gets into a longer discussion of the subtle knife and cutting this whole reality open and freeing all the souls here, which I hope to talk to with Kira about. But there isn't a Messiah coming, folks. You are your own Messiah. So what I'm going to say is, let's look at three different quotes, okay? Insanity is doing the same thing again and again and again and expecting different results. That was apparently Einstein's saying. And Einstein had very different work that was not promoted. Of course, he also understood the unified field like Tesla did, but they didn't allow that work to come out. Why? Because then you would know where you are, that you're in this thing where we keep doing the same thing again and again and expecting different results. That's insanity. Hell is the condition of having no alternatives. So let's not call hell even a place, even though that is what my mother and my grandmother said. Like, this is hell. It is actually a condition of the belief that you have no alternative and that you can't make a choice about being here, which is what most of the religions promote. And certainly that is why we're given that shock therapy, that amnesia, so that you cannot remember that this was not even your choice or your decision, that you just got thrown back in the reincarnation loop through some machine elves giving you the judgment, okay? Ignore them. Someone shared Simon Park's video to my lalitakaroli Facebook page, and I made a quick video of it. Not because I believe Simon Parks, okay? He's another one of those, yeah, he's creepy, it's true. And his wife was my client. And I know what Simon is. Okay, Simon is a messiah politician. And he believes that we're playing on some 5D chessboard and that some messiah politician is going to come forward and change the simulation. That is not possible. Okay, you are part of a game. Okay, and in that game, you can choose to continue believing that you're stuck here, which is the condition of hell, or the third quote that I'm going to give you is that liberation is realizing that this is a game and you, only you, must choose to leave the matrix. While you're in it, you can defund it by stop focusing on it. Stop focusing on the truthers or the politicians or the digital currency or the next horror event which they're promoting, which requires your quantum to focus on that. So defund it now, and then when your body is finished being here, because I do elder care, just be like you're getting on the Star Trek Enterprise and you're going somewhere else, okay? That's what I talk about with my current elder. And it's very interesting. She is not sure that we have a choice. So then I have to get into that. Like, why do you think that you don't have a choice? You're a sovereign soul. Leave, go back to the void where you are an eternal and immortal spiritual being. Okay, so let's get to the eons, okay, that happen again and again, that cycle around and around. So the animist and the spiritist are basically the hunter-gatherer and agrarian societies. Those can be happening concurrently in the many world theory, like Oxford could also have a hunter-gatherer society. So the animist and the spiritist are kind of the magician realms where they know this is a magical realm and they're trying to work with things like plant medicine and animal medicine and the magic that we are. And that is always happening. Okay, so in this wheel within a wheel, there are many worlds operating with the animist and spiritist. Then there's the pagan, which comes directly from the spiritist, where there are many, many deities and gods and elemental realms that you call upon, or that you could call upon, that are immortals here, that basically have been made gods from this harvesting hardware. And I'm not sure that they're not demonic. I think that in order to want to be a god, an immortal being here, and be called upon again and again, you have to be a quite a bit of a demon, actually, where you want that praise and attention. It was said, if you keep repeating Ram's name, Ram will be here. So everyone's writing Ram and saying the mantras and talking about Ram and keeping the story alive. So that being who is non-corporal, but is an entity, is being animated again and again. I would say do not repeat the name of any being. Do not invoke, do not pray, P-R-E-Y, to any being. And that's why I actually am very careful in not telling about my personal life or the struggles that I have, because my gosh, I do not want anyone invoking their form of God, which is actually a demon, and praying for me. So I don't even talk about stuff that's going on. Like, if you can't have a session with me or you're not invited over to my house, it's because there's stuff going on for me that I'm not going to talk about, because I don't want anyone praying for me. I don't need any help from this realm, okay? And that actually also magically is how you get harvested as a god here, is that you know that you are capable of taking care of anything. So that's how I also was like, oh my gosh, so I would actually have to be a demon by consent to be a, quote, immortal here, and just be like, no, I am out of here. So there's this place where you can be tricked into realizing what this realm is and not needing to invoke any non-corporal entity who is an immortal in this realm. And that is like, your sovereignty is very appealing to the gamer, okay? So animus spiritus pagan, and then there's always the monotheist. There's only one God. It's only Allah, whatever. And those things are based on basically control, getting people to only look at that one form. And it's often also based on like a black rock, black goo entity, like that is allegedly the form of that God. To me, it's like, don't you realize that black goo and those weird entities are demonic? I don't know. I can't get into it. I just read the Arabian Nights, which was absolutely horrific. I wanted to throw it in the fire. It was so bad, about all the white slaves and white concubines and the men who called on Allah and then just cut off the heads of the women that they used for one night and then cut off their head. I mean, I was just going, wow, this wheel is horrific. So that monotheist culture, okay? And then the atheists come into their rational thinking of all of this is just material, and if we manipulate the material, we are in fact gods. So we're kind of there with the World Economic Forum and Yuval Harari, basically trying to hack the human organism. And then the nihilist phase, which has that element kind of, where I am with it, is like, none of this, right? And then the chaos phase, which we're entering right now, between now and 2040, is another cataclysm. Okay, they call that the pandemonium phase in this 7 eons that happen here. And it's interesting, they'll pull out, the Aleister Crowley magicians will pull out whatever sleight of mind they want at that time to then create a new wheel of their own bidding. So it's interesting that the pandemonium stage, they know to go underground. They know that chaos is going to be on the surface of the planet. And they know that a cataclysm will come. And honestly, from what I've heard from those magicians, they're looking forward to getting rid of most of us, either through the cataclysm or through the other means, which I've written about in my blogs, so that they don't care if we're focused on Nibiru and calling in this battleship Wormwood and focusing on it to do a complete cataclysm of this realm. I don't think we're on a sphere, so I don't even know if a pole shift is what happens, but I'm sure that the electromagnetic levitation of this realm and the celestial spheres will be affected by the Wormwood battleship. Okay, and I guess I need to pull back to the videos that I share of different people. I do want to say again, just because I'm sharing that video doesn't mean I follow that person or that I believe in that person, or certainly I would never have a session with that person because, for instance, just look at Simon Parks. Like, there's no way I would go to one of his meetings or be in the same room with him. But does he know what this realm is and how the shock therapy happens at the end where you lose your memory? And this guardian, archdemon Michael, who is part of the whole geometry, what's called the beast anatomy here. Yeah, you have to be a warrior to get out of here. And warriors do not follow others. I'm not interested in having a session with Tony Sayers either, just so you know. Anyone who, even though Tony's got great skill at taking apart these New Agers and so forth, unless you're going to have a live blood analysis to show that you do not have NA, NO in your body, do not go to these people who are saying they're removing that, or even listen to their free frequency uploads, folks. So even though I've referred to these people, I want you to know, you must be a sovereign soul. I can't even give you my consciousness. You have to know this. So let's start with this. Like I did with my client yesterday, who I actually was with for 3 hours. We worked together. What is your core belief around what this realm is? What is your core belief? Stop listening to everybody else. Look at your actual physical experience. Look at your actual experience. What is this realm? Okay? My client yesterday thought that there was just something wrong with her, right? I've heard this from a lot of clients. I can't make it work. There must be something wrong with me. I've tried every spiritual thing. I've studied with this one and studied with this one. And now she's studying with another one who calls this place like Disney World. And I was like, I'm not going to argue with that. This place is Disney World. He's exactly right. Of course, he's a positivity guru that you just have to straighten yourself out and it will be like Disney World. I'm like, oh yeah, it is just like Disney World here, isn't it? It's all puppet show illusion for the pedophiles. And she was like, what? And I said, have you not seen those slow motion videos of the Disney material where they've got subliminal messaging for the pedophiles? Did you not know that Disney was a pedophile? Did you not know there are viewing rooms? Okay, I'm not going to get into it because I need to have this video. So yeah, it's Disney World here. And because the operators know how to get more energy from soul fracture, that's why I said, listen, just read his dark materials about these scavengers who are going around picking up children. All right, that is what this realm is. So, my dearest friend, again, why don't they tell us the truth? Oh, why don't they tell us the truth about what Disney is? It's because those who know what this realm is are benefiting from whatever magic that they want to do here with the sleight of mind. Okay, a lot of sleight of mind is going on around the Messiah politicians. Let me tell you, you are in a simulation. That means it's a copy. It's not even a planet. okay? That my core belief over time has changed. So it's with my experience of seeing what this realm is, and astrologically working with people for so many years. I have a stack of notebooks that Claude was looking at today of all my client sessions with their details about what has happened to them. And so I have experiential evidence that this is a harvesting realm that traumatizes you, where you have soul fracture, and that soul fracture is the quantum that runs this program. It's a game, though. You can get out. And as I said, hell is the condition of having no alternatives, where you think that you have to come back again and again. Okay, so I'm also going to speak about some of the magician books that I'm reading right now, because I really want to know their perspective and what they know about this realm. They're very into the sleight of mind through the subconscious of suggestion. They're also very into invoking these gods, which even in their own words are actually probably demons. The gods here are the demons. They are the demons. So whether you're invoking, I won't even say any of the names anymore, okay? What I will not even, because the logos and what I say is very powerful. They are all demons. So whatever you invoke, you become. So I will not invoke any of them, because that is what also animates this wheel. It animates this wheel again and again. These immortals, whether they're the machine elves or other, live vicariously through you. Just stop. Stop invoking them. And stop invoking Messiah politicians, because one thing's very clear from these magic books that I'm reading. None of the past is real, and the future we don't know, okay? This is all an illusion. It is literally popping up moment by moment based on how much focus you put into it. So I don't channel, I don't call in ancestors, I don't believe any of the history that we've ever been told, because, again, there are many worlds. There's the religious Oxford, and there's the rationalist Oxford, and then there's probably also a shamanic Oxford, and then there's also a pandemonium Oxford. And it's all happening in a wheel, in a wheel, in a wheel. So just look up the electromagnetism, levitation theory of a wheel within a wheel. And then you'll start to understand what this realm is. And you know what? You know why you can't also tell the truth about it? Because none of it's real. Literally. So, my dear friend, when you ask me why don't they tell the truth about it? Because it's changing all the time. It's not an object. It's a system. Pay attention. It doesn't have edges. It is literally like a screen. Okay? And what I'm saying to this screen right now and what I am projecting is animating this whole thing. So realize where you are. And the more that you realize it, you can question yourself. Insanity is doing the same thing again and again in these 7 different eons and expecting some different result. So you can be, using your energy to try to inform people about how the election was stolen. Folks, who cares? Who cares? You're in a fabricated reality anyways, so it's all unsatisfactory. It's all an imitation. And it's not you that can't figure it out. So some of my clients have sessions with people who are like, oh, you're going to look younger, you're going to feel better, your face is going to change. Well, guess what? Your face will change if you put makeup on. I put makeup on today. I'm playing with these weird perceptions. I colored my hair. I warned some people because they're opening the screen going, oh my gosh, Lily, do you have bright red hair? So it's up to you, okay? You are the magician. You are. And so if you have sessions with people who say, oh, I removed your NA, NO, you're going to feel better. You're going to look younger. And then I hear from my clients, I think it's just me. Something's wrong with me. Because so many people go to that person for sessions and they're happy. And I'm like, they're making it up. Come on, stop with the self-deceit. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I do. I'm already at 40 minutes, and I actually might somehow lose my space here. But this client who came yesterday, her sister, who died from radiation necrosis from being treated for a brain tumor, her sister was very interesting, and she shared with me some of her writings, and I just want to share with you one of her writings, which I thought was really profound. I want to be undeceived about life and the world, and to undeceive those who can awaken from the deception and run with it. And I was like, wow, that is so profound. I wrote it on the notebook, and we read it several times. I want to be undeceived about life and the world, and to undeceive those who can awaken from the deception and run with it. And this was a woman who had a brain tumor. So interestingly, when you have a brain tumor, your filters around what this world is start to drop. Okay. That's why my clients who are labeled schizophrenic and know that their Bluetooth is spying on them, their filters are dropping. So sometimes that's why, using substances or having a very serious illness, I find that when I'm really sick, which I was about 2.5 weeks ago, I had a high fever and my filters were dropping. And I was like, wow, I could see a lot of what is going on here. And I was weirdly in a 5G city, and everybody was like remotely controlled good behavior. I was like, oh my gosh, is that what those things are? During the pandemonium phase, the big 5G tower is going to remote control everybody for good behavior. Oh my gosh. So they don't need to put up the insane asylums like after the last cataclysm. Okay, my dears. So I hope that answers some questions. Be undeceived about what this realm is.